Hey guys, T-Bull here. Today I got to look at the Amagi for you. Here's my Takagi build. I do run Kondo along with Cunningham. Kondo boosts the concealment rating on battleships. I only got him at level 9, but this is kind of the line I'm primarily experimenting with that build. And I plan to boost him up here in the next couple months once I get some promotion orders. I think it is an interesting build. We do have a match on Two Brothers here. Capture the base mode. In my opinion, this is probably the most exciting finish that I've had. It could be the best game I've ever played, at least in a battleship, at least to this point. I hope you guys do enjoy this. This one was pretty exciting. The finish is absolutely wild, so like I said, strap yourself in. Just hopefully you guys enjoyed as much as I enjoyed playing the game. Two Brothers, you never know what you're going to get with your team, but my standard move is to swing out to the wing. Now for battleships, as I'm playing in this game, I want to generally, you'll see where I position myself here. You don't want to spread too wide, at least initially. What you do in the battleship is going to depend on what the other teams and your own team's destroyers do. If your teams are scouting properly and fending off the advancing destroyers, you can potentially move positions then. If not, you can kind of anchor around roughly where I'm going to end up. This position allows you to cover the channel, which is an ill-advised play in my opinion, going up it, but people do that. So if you don't stray too far from the base, you can cover that, but you can also get into position to get shots off. Now we had an option to take a shot at that Iowa there, but the destroyer popped up closer to us, so we did pop him for about 4k damage there. Cruisers, I want you to look at the map and take a look at the islands. The cruisers, if you can swing out, people push too far ahead vertically too early in this match. What you want to do is spread out wide. You can utilize those islands, use them for cover. You can potentially fire shots over them undetected, or you can use them as cover to kind of engage and disengage as needed. But you can see my team on the eastern side, or I'm sorry, the west side, is hell-bent on pushing as far into the team as quickly as they possibly can do it. That's a mistake. You can't be too overly aggressive on this map. It generally plays very campy, and until you kind of spread out and get in a better position, you can't be too aggressive pushing forward. A lot of times it doesn't work out, and you'll take some heavy losses. So we're able to pop that Iowa there. Both this Iowa and the Amagi that's playing with them are kind of fiddling with their throttle quite a bit, which does make it harder to aim. You can see this Amagi's going maybe quarter speed. He's probably stopped it all the way, and then he's going to briefly reverse and briefly go back to quarter. That can be effective to dodge shots, but if you know how to counter it, you can kind of hit him for some pretty decent damage as I'm doing there. Now to start the match off, I did my turn, which you guys see me do a lot in battleships. That allows me to angle against all three of these targets. I got a Bismarck to the far right, Iowa in the middle, Amagi here. You can see you get very steep firing angles off the rear, and I could even go a little bit steeper if I wanted to against this Amagi. But by making that turn, now if I need to move forward, I can do so quickly, but that's going to allow me to move away from them and disengage instead of like this Jervis. Here's a perfect example. He pops up. Obviously, I pop it into full throttle now. If I was angled towards them, I have to push into those guys. That's going to increase the depth that I'm into them. I'm putting myself in a crossfire in that situation, whereas now I can get the speed I need to take evasive maneuvers against this Jervis. He probably launched torps already, but if he didn't, I can more easily dodge because I'm going full speed and I'm still maintaining my defensive posture against those three battleships. So the turn of these high tier battleships is very effective. You can do it at all tiers, but of course the lower tiers have shorter ranges, and I don't know, I tend to use the turn a little bit more on higher tiers just because you got to play really defensively at higher tiers. But anyway, so now we are able to turn away from that Jervis. I don't see any torps yet, but you got to just assume they're coming in. And now that we're moving away from the torps, you're going to see moving away from the torps a lot in this game, and that is the key to defending yourself against battleships. Now I'm angled primarily against the Amagi. The Iowa is obscured by the island. He could potentially hit me there, but I'm pretty well angled to him Bismarck, I'll keep checking his guns to see if he's aiming at me. He has a juicy shot at me. He is distracted, however, by ships that are closer to him than I am. But that's a potentially fatal shot. If he had really good awareness, he might be more inclined to shoot at me. But just keep him. Sometimes you have to be opening yourself up to potential damage. You just got to really keep an eye on it. Otherwise, that can get you removed from the game quite quickly. Evaluating the match here, the western flank is completely obliterated, so we just got to assume those ships are pushing north and they'll be here. But we've ceded complete map control. You know I'm a strong proponent of not bunching up in the base, but because our 2 destroyers are hugging basically the edge of the base, they're not countering the destroyers, which is an existential threat to me. So I need to move away from the Jervis, who was last spotted towards me. They do also have another destroyer somewhere out in that vicinity. But I do need those destroyers to move forward, identify those targets. I can help shoot them. You know, obviously they shouldn't trust their teammates unless they are reasonably certain that they're capable, but between you and me, I can help support them if need be. Now, they are sending this turpets up the canal. Obviously, I don't think that's a good play either, but it is what it is. But this is what I'm talking about. By kind of playing in the zone, you can exert force south, you know, for the ships that are playing the wings, as I think they should be. But covering that channel is very easy. All you got to do is keep an eye on the map, and once you recognize that someone's pushing up there, they usually poke out and they get shot from all angles. So it's a very weak play until later in the game when there's far fewer ships and the ships are more spread out. So I don't ever advocate going up that channel in the first half of the match. Now again, looking at the territory, the terrain, I'm trying to keep that island between me and the Bismarck. He still has access to the broadside. He still has not shot at it, which is good. But I'm primarily angled at the Amagi. I'm a little over-angled here looking at this. But I'm also trying to take shots at this Iowa. Now take a look at the map right here. You see we do have our destroyer. I think it's an Akatsuki that is proximity spotting that, what I believe to be the Jervis, that last destroyer that was pushing into us. Just keep an eye on that ship. There's going to be a sequence here where I'm really kind of bogged down in what's going on, and I'm not keeping an eye on the map. And perhaps you'll spot that ship sooner than I do if you're keeping an eye on the map, like I always recommend you guys try and practice to do when you're watching replays. Now that Amagi, I was hanging on to that shot. I thought he was going to go broadside to go around that island, but he really never decided to turn. So we just took a shot, did whatever damage we could get. Again, very broadside to this Bismarck, and take a look at the map now. This is what I'm talking about. But what I'm trying to do without having that destroyer in my realm of consciousness, I'm swinging the rear end of my ship to angle towards this Bismarck, who is the closest, and I'm still successfully angled against all 3 of those battleships. So that's a very good move, I believe, at least in my opinion, barring the fact that I completely missed that destroyer, and just by the skin of my teeth, I just happened to be moving forward and was alerted to those torps just in the nick of time. But that could have very easily been game over. So a bit of luck there, a bit of a misplay. Our destroyer, for whatever reason, I mean, he does end up getting a fairly decent score at the end of the game, so I think he does do something. But I was very frustrated with his position over there. I get what he's trying to do. He's trying to torp those 2 battleships, but I need his eyes over here to help deal with this. So I'm going to ping him multiple times throughout the rest of this match because he does wind up getting a little bit of my nerves. Now the Bismarck, not fully broadside, but broadside enough that I thought I could punch through that belt armor. I should have probably aimed him just a little bit more because he was angled enough. We did get one pen into the hull armor and one that randomly hit the superstructure, but I think aimed up about halfway on that ship, we could have gotten a little bit of better salvo here. Here the Jervis does pop back up, and we're going to take a little bit of a risk and try and get the guns on him. I'm trying to get rid of this target because it's a massive threat to me. But by doing so, you can see on the diagram there I did open myself up to a potential shot from the Bismarck. Sometimes you got to take some risks. We're down a ship. It doesn't look too bad right now. But if you're looking on the map and we can see now on the screen that western flank is pushed forward and they're now coming around. So we're in a very tight jam. This is the classic black hole situation, which I absolutely hate, and do not think that you should normally get out of this situation alive. Bismarck pops out here. I'm going to try and pop him. Little known fact about the Bismarck, the factory that made that outsourced the manufacture of the turtleback armor to Chinese factories. So unlike most of the German battleships, the turtleback armor is actually semi-defective. I don't know, I mean, you can say it's a fairly long-range shot. In my mind, that should not be a Citadel, but who knows. Maybe I'm just wrong about that. But anyway, we're able to pop him there. I do fire one more shot. I figure, great, he must be dead there. We actually do get a couple pens, but remarkably, he does stay alive. But I've kind of committed to moving on here. I got other problems. First things first, this York's low. Is he the biggest damage threat to me? No, but he could torp me, and I believe that's what he's trying to do. So we're going to try and angle away from the turpets. What does turpets have? It has torps. We know that, so we're going to turn away from him and get as much distance as possible. York just gives us just enough angle that we can catch through the nose and pop him there, eliminated. Now again, angling against the turpets, the Bismarck is what it is. Like, I would prefer he'd be dead, but he's not dead. I can't change that. But I do need to get away from this turpets. You know, I know, everybody knows. He torped, and there they are. That's the first salvo. He's swinging around like a fish, and that means he's launching multiple torps. But we do pop him there with a pretty decent shot for the high caliber and the Confederate. And now I take this opportunity as I'm getting a little bit of distance with that turpets. I get one gun on the Bismarck, take a shot, hoping that's going to finish him off. Let's go ahead and take a look here. No, we do get a little bit of damage, but not enough. Luckily, we get two more turrets that are reloading that are on position. Take a shot, and that's going to do it for him. Now, we still got a problem here. The turpets is closing in. Because I'm going to have to maneuver quite a bit, he's going to actually have a chance to gain distance on me. But because I'm sailing away from him, he can keep launching these torps. We're going to keep trying to outdistance ourselves. Do pop the gun there. That's what you want to be aiming for a lot of times in these close quarter battleship situations. But he turns broadside to get another torp salvo on us, and we punch him there, and we hit him really hard. But to get that full salvo, you see we did have to open our broadside up all the way. We're going to immediately turn back away, get as far away from him as we can. We should be expecting more torps, and we need to create that distance. We do have a good firework battle going on here, and just the torps were beeping. I knew it. I thought I'd try and get some more damage. If I got hit with them, I got hit with them. There's too much going on. I can't concentrate, can't focus. Jervis is back. This guy's been a thorn in my side since day one. We hit him real hard there, but not finish him off. Nothing we can do about that. You know, we're gonna try and finish him off. We do have more torps coming in with the turpets, but luckily we're putting that distance between us. Is it gonna pay off here? We're gonna find out shortly. Just barely. And again, that's these ships that are potentially torping you. If you can put distance by sailing away from them, it extends the range those torps have to travel to get to you, and that just saved our life there by keeping a focus on staying away from this guy. Now I'm trying to get as much damage as I can on this guy. It's starting to look better though. This fight's evening out. We're actually up a ship, and our guy's on base. Do I want him to be on base? No, because this is an epic fight. I'm having the time of my life here. Dodge another salvo, and this guy is really getting frustrated. Here's our old friend, the Jervis. We're going to take some shots at this guy and see what we can do.
Smile, you son of a...
And he gone. Take that, buddy. So now I'm feeling really good. That one got me yelling, you know. And we're going for broke here. I can see my guys trying to win the game the old-fashioned way. Normally I'd be strongly advocating him do that, but not in this instance. Because my god, this is a lot of fun. And we're just going to throw everything at this guy. We're going to cycle in. I know he doesn't have torps loaded. Back guns kind of come in at a weird angle and miss that juicy front nose broadside. Unfortunately, I probably should have aimed up a little bit more into the superstructure there. I'm trying to hit a superstructure shot there just to make sure we get some damage. Get another one at the waterline, or we're trying to, but of course the game ends there. So I thought that was a hell of a game personally. That's my own opinion. Maybe you disagree, but I hope you did enjoy it. If you did, please hit the thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, you should consider subscribing. I got a lot of World of Warships coming all the time. Questions for me, comments, leave them below. I'd love to hear from you guys. And we'll see y'all later. All right, peace.